Salakia. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam Lay Yahweh, Baruch Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem. We're Chai HaKudash, double honors to the elders, and to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to Akim, across the four corners of the earth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Aqua, thought they're listening and learning, Lord willing, this is edify. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth to you. Slaka. To you, I say Shalom. This brother Yahweh Shai coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, many He is, He exists, or He to be. Ba'Shem, Ba'as in Haz Lashem, His name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He saves or He delivers. True names of the Most High God and His Son, whose people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. This lesson is inspired by, I was just thinking out loud, I'm at work. So, this is like, I can't even think of the name of it, but when brothers pretty much, they quote the scriptures, they don't really get a chance to read. And I just had some things that crossed my mind, thinking out loud, like the one elder brother says, I say various thoughts or various topics. Pretty much, I was at work. I worked with about a bunch of Edomites, right? Well, it's different crews doing this shit. One crew that I started with was Jake. Well, it's Northern Kingdom. Now I'm on a crew with some Edomites. Now, the thing is, the vice president, his son run the crew. He an Edomite. And, it's like I'm trying to eat and do this. And, this is a young Edomite. Him and his cousin like in their 20s. And I was just thinking out loud, the scriptures talk about they're not in trouble as other men. Because these devils done gave their children the skill to be able to support themselves. I mean, he's 21. They actually ride around in excavators and loaders and shit like that. Look, either my boy talking about he was playing with them before he was able to drive. I just thought that, I found that funny. Then, I got on this crew, and I thought it was a dude, but I knew in the spirit, I'm like, that ain't a dude, that's a female. It's just too feminine looking. But I figured it out. And it's a stud. So she pretty enough. She ain't ugly, but she got that man. Like first she was talking, now she start talking. Cause I'm a very antisocial person. And I think like the elders say, he can sit up there, he bullshit with him. He'll talk to Esau, he'll talk to Amalek. Me myself, I'm antisocial, so they be thinking I'm weird, unless I'm geeked up or I'm trying to fuck with a female or I'm trying to get my point across, I really stay to myself. I look weird. He started talking to me today because it has something to do with, they use this particular system to how we get paid. And you can hear it all in her voice. And I was just thinking about how Esau Edom is more accepting of their children being like out here like that, studs and homosexuals and shit like that. And when Esau Edom doesn't accept it, that might be a Edomite appearing person. That might be Jake though, because Jake like that. Jake It'll be like, don't bring a white girl home, or Edomite girl, don't do certain shit. You got certain Jake that be like, don't even fuck with the Northern Kingdom. Showing you a house divided. But the scriptures talk about Edom being a base man. And why is everybody surprised that this base man is going to go to his sword and choose violence? Like Kendrick Lamar said, PDHD, I choose violence. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that devil doing. Again, I'm not always right. But through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemi Shah, every once in a while I'm able to prophesy, And, I don't know if this is the year of our Lord's return, our big brother, but I do know a lot more is about to happen. It's too much going on, and they say they got DJ Trump. I heard somebody say that pretty much they was talking about the mic was turned off and DJ Trump said if he don't get reelected, they gonna impeach him. Some of that shit is real. You got to understand, everybody is not part of the club. So it's a lot of mass manipulators behind the scenes doing shit. Like DJ Trump is pretty much like just doing what he could do. Like he taking that chance of putting himself out there. And I was listening to this particular individual. He was going into how DJ Trump is not a president. So, he's more so of a businessman. So businessmen more so look at it like, I'll fire you, I'll do this. They do threats more than understanding that, you got these sovereign countries that pretty much, just for that mindset, he doing a business move to a sovereign country. That's part of NATO at that. And that's why he walked away from NATO, because pretty much it seems to me that America's broke. The elites funded them enough to pass that big, beautiful bill. You got the money for the ICE agents. All that money is allocated to that. I'm sure they're going to have money allocated for defense because, they got the biggest military budget. But they also cut a lot of shit. And again, I'm still thinking I'm in awe of the fact of what he did with the taxes. In Texas, that was some cold-blooded shit. He say, oh yeah, we ain't gonna tax overtime. And he got all these people hyped up thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna save all this money. I'm gonna get all this money back from the government because I'm gonna be able to deduct it. But in actuality, it's only on your overtime. I say, oh, that's some cold-blooded shit. And the thing is, if you made too much, you end up paying them. So yeah, this shit gonna be cold-blooded. But again, I was just sitting back thinking about this devil and how he moved. This job, you got the stud chick, and that's a spirit on her. But when Jacob's trouble come, like I remember the one brother was with me. I stayed upstairs from these niggas. I told you, it was 3 of them grown-ass motherfuckers and my 3 children. And I was like, damn, my children got more sense than these grown-ass motherfuckers. And the old lady, she was one of the ones that came across like the sweet old lady, but really was a demon. Got to question if she was sucking pussy back then because her daughter ended up becoming a stud. And what was I about to say? Oh, that's the spirit called Allah. I remember one time a brother had to drop me off, and he was like, oh, he was like, who was that? I'm like, oh, she stayed downstairs. He was like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, she a stud though. She a dyke. Well, from what they explained, studs, dykes, and all them is different. What do you call them? Stems. He was like, what happened to bull daggers? But anyhow, I'm like, she a dyke though. He like, oh yeah. So she turned around and walked upstairs. He like, oh yeah, that big old booty, she'll turn into a girl real quick. And Jacob's trouble, they gonna turn back into women. So, she might think she a man now because she around these men. And I could tell her father is the one that put that spirit on her. He probably had her around him as a child because you could tell, like, these Edomites had these little children playing on these things. So they probably was around men. She was probably around men. And, it showed that in the Last of Us, which that's all programming for real. That's some satanic shit. That's why it's called Naughty Dog. You know what I mean? Just like Rockstar. A lot of them games be having underlying Satanism in them. But I was thinking about this job, I'd have disowned my child. And then at the last job, the one that I left to come here, come to find out the chick, there was a lady there, and when I come back, we thinking it's a girl because like we temps again, you're not hired in. Come to find out, this a dude the whole time. Her son dressed up like a girl, and her daughter dresses up like a boy. So I was like, oh, this is the Flatfoot Demon. You know? Well, I was just reading that in Romans chapter 3, and I think I read in Psalms. I think it's Psalms 31 or Psalms 35. But it talks about how the wicked basically don't believe in the God or power. They have no fear of the Heavenly Father. And that's why Esau Edom want to make a freaky cyborg world. You know what I mean? Made me think of that game Cyberpunk 2077, which I ain't got no extra money for no shit like that right now. You know what I mean? So I was just thinking about that because I was like, if I get a game, I was gonna get that. You know, it's a first person game, and literally it's like what this devil. I would like to see it because I can only imagine what's in there. You know. This devil speaks in a lot of ways, and through that entertainment, that media, the entertainment system, he speaks a lot. So, you know, I just was thinking out loud again, don't be surprised what this devil's doing, you know, and they showing their force. And of course, I remember being on the bus with a Jake. And I was always talking about how, you know, Moab had all this technology, which they do got better electronics and whatnot. That's why you can go on Temu and get some shit, some electronic for $3. And a bitch, I got some earbuds from Temu that I've had for like 2.5 years. Them bitches last like 8 hours. The only difference between this job and other jobs, like I like the other jobs because I get away with listening to the brothers through the earbuds. I can't really do it here. But I'm grateful to have a job. But yeah, of course, this devil got some technology. And, you know, what was that? Redacted? He was going to a lot of the shit they could do now, they've been doing. So what can they do that you don't know they can do? Yeah, this devil giving the left hand, gave the left hand blessing of the sword. You know what I mean? This man does have technology. It talks about Revelation chapter, 13, with signs and wonders. So, you know, it's just a thinking out loud, or various topics, you know. But don't be surprised at what else you see. Don't be surprised that when individuals, it get too hard for them and they walk away from the faith. Don't get surprised when you see certain individuals that you come to find out are agents, or like the elder deemed the year, apostates, agents, and sellouts. And I believe he said, like Jacob's trouble, if I'm not mistaken. Because Jacob's already in trouble, but wait till it intensifies. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, by Shem Kodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim. It's the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Apostles that listen and learning or are willingly just edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, and who subscribe to the truth. The U.S. say Shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Yahshua Allah, and the walk of the world.